Yeah, they were fighting to say that I'm not doing. And it was on one area that the HOA was supposed to be maintaining. It was like patch of grass here and then dirt the rest of the time.
We'll try to provide housing for teachers.
I have not seen that. Oh, I'm not in Phoenix.
No, it's all around the state.
We're trying to figure out how to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I brought that under. Jim, I would say there's the high rate. But that's
I mean,
I hope so. I very good. Marsha, whatever you want me today, but I like to start on time and finish early because I respect the fact that you all have houses to sell, people to meet, and things to do. You're way busier than I am. I just sit around waiting for you to call me. I'll twiddle my thumbs all day. There's quite a few of you here today that were unable to make the award show this year, but you do have awards here. So if you sold over $5 million of production in 2022 without rentals and referrals, please see me after the meeting because I have something for you. Yay? Yay. Okay. Well, a few things. Oh my gosh, were your folks busy in April? Like I had to do work to squeeze all the humans on the screen. Happy birthday to all of our April Fools babies. I am so thankful for all of you, and our very own, where is Madison? Where did you sit, Madison? There you are, right in the front. How did I miss you, Madison? Madison, could you stand up? All right, so Madison Sarakaku did not only have a birthday in April, she also received the Transaction Coordinator of the Year award. So way to go, Madison. She's like, and you make me do that again, I quit. TC World, right? It's always like, I want to be behind the scenes. But if it wasn't for people like Madison, we wouldn't be able to do what we do on such a large scale. So thank you. The other thing I want to say is, I mean, I seriously have been so bored. No one calls me. We only closed 180 contracts in the month of March. Way to go, guys. You guys rocked it. Again, a leading office in the industry. I really appreciate you all for making such a difference. You moved over $125 million worth of inventory last month alone. These are not fake numbers. I don't fluff it. So just to let you know how I add, I use Excel and I do a sum. So it's not even Mandy math, it's Excel math. This is really what you guys, you did. So way to go. 2023 April calendar, just a few things right after the meeting. Again, please go to ROC title, rock title. I don't know why I'm thinking I should spell it these days. And they're gonna have title tidbits, and it's really on title commitments today, and it's gonna be quite riveting. I guarantee it, because if you've never read a title commitment or you read it and you don't understand it, do you think it's part of your area of competence to at least understand enough to ask more questions for your client? Yeah, so if at any point you go, I have no idea what Mandy says when she says Schedule B, please go upstairs directly after the meeting. You can see that. More important than what I have to say. No, Ms. Nicholson, it's not more important. April 19th is just this Wednesday, and it's amazing to me how many calls I've received lately on vacant land. We have Jan Layton. She is a past president of Arizona Association of Realtors. She is one of the smartest, right after Jim though, Like Jim is the smartest man I know. And then Jan ranks like, don't tell Jan she ranks number 2 there. But Jan's brain is on fire and she loves dirt. She is the dirt queen. And I promise you, it's not as easy as just saying, hey, here's some earth, you're going to buy it. There are surveys, there are inspections, there's due diligence. And she's going to go over that contract in just 3 hours with you this Wednesday at Scottsdale Association. So please make sure to register on your newsletter. And get there on time. I will not be there, but Kathy Lazarus will be there. And so I need you there at 8:58. Okay, not 9:02. Thank you in advance. May Day on May 1st, we're all gonna, you're gonna see some things coming out from us. We're sponsoring Lost Our Home Pet Rescue. This organization is from Tempe. It was started by a group of realtors and it's to help pets that are found. And they're accepting donations from pet beds to canned dog food, not open bags of food though. I didn't know they had to spell that out, but they spelled it out. Don't give me open bags of food. It all needs to be used. So I'm going to put a money donation so we can all go in as one big group, or you can bring in until May 1st. And then if you want to go down with me and deliver the items, you're more than welcome just to let me know and we'll go down. Okay. Well, with all that being said, how many of you are excited about our new commissioner? Yeah. Well, a lot of it's been shifting and changing and moving. And I think that is so extremely important to hear from who's in charge and who is delegating rule sets and who's making sure things are done, because it affects all of us. And her job is to protect the public while we are the customers. So her client is the public. Her fiduciaries with the public. But how do you have to treat a customer in real estate? Give me the 4 letters. I know you guys know them. What's the word, Dave, that we spell out? You got this. Hard. It's sometimes hard to deal with a customer when you don't represent them, but you always have to be honest. Accountable to, for us, the contract, for her, the Arizona revised statutes, commissioner rules, any legislation. Reasonable skill and care. Everybody has the same due diligence. And then disclosure. She'll tell us when we mess up for sure. So with no further ado, my very, very favorite human, Susan Nicholson. You don't want me. You really don't want me to be the one to tell you you have a disclosure issue, because that means it got escalated a lot. You just want to hear from the department. You don't want to hear from me. Hey guys, thanks for having me back. I feel like I was somewhat a regular here and training some real estate technology tools and things. So it's fun to come back now as commissioner. I'm just over 2 months on the job now. Kind of starting to put down on paper my agency assessment and strategic plan for the next 3.5 years for the agency and where we're going to go. So I am committed to having the most transparent agency at the state of Arizona. One of the things that I felt needed to change in my interview, actually, with Governor Hobbs' team, I sort of burst in there. I didn't think they would hire me because I'm a registered Republican. So I kind of, you know how when you think like, I'm not going to get the job anyway, so I get this chance to talk to these important people, and I'm just going to go for it. That was me. That was me, jacked up on a lot of espresso that day, charging in there to tell them what they needed to fix at the Department of Real Estate. So the overarching theme was, right now, the Department of Real Estate in the industry for the vast majority of licensees is seen as a punitive agency. You know, if you're a designated broker and you get an unknown caller ID, you kind of cringe and get, could be the department, they could be notifying me of an audit. Yuck, let it go to voicemail. Hope it's not them. And, you know, and that overall feeling of, I just finished my broker management clinic, but yet I don't feel prepared. If I get that phone call from that unknown caller, I told them they have to hit star 82, by the way. No more unknown callers. You're going to know it's the Department of Real Estate. Answer your phone. So, but you shouldn't be terrified when the Department of Real Estate contacts you
because in every instance possible, we want to be a proactive agency. We see all of our licensees as small business owners that help support the economy of the great state of Arizona. I believe that if we do a good job communicating, this is what it takes to be within the letter of the law, that licensees will step up to that mark to do it. But first, I have to do my part. I have to define things that have been hazy in what the heck does prominently displayed mean for a brokerage name? You know, I hear, can you give me a size? Can you give me a this? Can you give me a that? I hear it from designated brokers. I hear it from team leaders. Why do we just stick with this prominently displayed? And the thought behind it was always, we don't want to be too restrictive on business, but instead we created fear in business because they didn't know, well, have I achieved what the mark of prominently displayed, or have I not achieved the mark of prominently displayed? So that's just one of those things that's left to the interpretation. What is exactly a definite place of business? You know, a definite place of business in 1980 or 2008 was one thing, but then we all had COVID and all of us had to adopt new technologies and things. So what is a definite place of business? And I don't want to make those decisions on my own. So there will be a lot of work where industry will be invited into the Department of Real Estate. So really, truly don't freak out if I call you. I'm probably asking you to be on a task force. Freak out if Dan Jones calls you. He's the bad news bearer. Anyway, says Dan Jones, that's enforcement and compliance, and it's never good. You know, if I'm calling you, it's probably not that. It's probably outreach to say, hey, we're looking at something at the department. We want to better define it. We want to better understand it. And that's really the cusp of where we are going to be in this first year. We are going to better define, better understand, do a tremendous amount of outreach. So we are going to do office meetings. We're going to hold regular meetings at the Department of Real Estate that will train designated brokers and office managers on our auditing process. You're not going to wonder if you want the information, even if you're a sales licensee and you're just curious, what is a department audit like? We're going to offer those classes again, and we're going to bring you through, show you the audit checklist, which brings me to processes and procedures. So the Department of Real Estate has not done rulemaking since 2008. We have some statutes that date back to before I was born you know, are still there. There is a disconnect that I keep finding between intent of statutes, the rules on the books, and the evolution of the business models inside the industry. And so we're trying to basically put some square pegs into round holes. I've brought these up to the governor's teams. They see them as technical revisions to statutes and rules, and we'll start to undertake those little things in May. So in May is when the policy advisors at the governor's office will sit down with me and say, how do we make this applicable? Forms at the Department of Real Estate. I found a form in the education department that said, is this class available online or is it delivered by disc? And I was just like, oh, when's the last time we looked at our forms, guys? So it's been quite a while. And coming in from industry and understanding as a school administrator, as an instructor, as a designated broker, as a brokerage owner, an entity owner, how you interact with the department from the public side, the customer side, versus the regulatory needs and the ability to protect the public. I intend to have a very nice streamlining and merger of it all. Like, you know, I feel like if they came out of research, we may as well just merge things, right? Because that's what that association did a lot of. They did a lot of merging. So those changes will happen too. So in education, I've approved 1 credit hour increments. The intent is you guys are very busy professionals. I know that 3 hours out of your day is half of your day, especially if you're going to live instruction. You're driving somewhere, you're there for 3 hours, you leave, you're 4 or 5 hours out of pocket now from your businesses. Lawyers have 1 hour increments. There are many other states that do 1 hour increments. there's no reason, especially with emerging real estate issues like deed fraud or water, or even things where the Department of Forestry said, hey, could real estate educate their licensees about FireWise? So when you're selling rural land, you can educate your buyers to say, hey, you may want to ask the seller for this and this and this because of FireWise, and points them to some resources at the state. These are all things that maybe 50 minutes of solid, great content, but you try to make that a 3-hour class, and now you've probably got 2 hours of that was mediocre and 1 hour of the substance that you really set out to write the class for. So really hoping for quality instead of quantity to give more flexibility to the education that you guys receive. If you guys are new to practice and you need that reminder of like, what is agency and my fiduciary duties, that's great. But there's some people like Mandy who've done this for a while, and she probably doesn't need a reminder of that. And she'd like an agency class that's got a little more substance to it, maybe some debate, maybe some scenarios, interpretations. Which way do we go with this? So, yeah, exactly. Right. Right. Is it like an online agency 101, or is Jim Sexton leading the conversation with us? There's a difference between the types of classes you're going to get. And so the department is going to do some work in IT. Ooh, that's another hairy one. So we're going to do some work in IT, though, so that we can categorize, so that an instructor can say, this is an advanced agency class, or this is an intermediate, or this is a beginner. I'm also aware that we have some classes and some instruction out there that's just crap. There's just, you know, like, call it the poop emoji, because that's what some of it is. And so we are going to make it, when you enter in a certificate, you can answer just 3 basic questions about the instructor, the class, the content. That information is going to go to the department and will help me decide where I send my licensing monitors. And I don't mean my volunteer monitors, I mean my licensing staff, that if it really is as bad as the surveys say, and it's really off topic the way that the surveys say, then we'll be removing those courses and potentially those instructors from the pool out there. So I intend to clean up the whole education side of it. I recently got the first scorecard back from Pearson VUE that administers our pre-licensing exam. This is another area that's going to require a long, deep dive, but the overall pass rate is below 45%. Yeah. So it's kind of funny, because I hear people say, well, should it be harder to get a real estate license? And so I started reviewing some of the questions on it, and I was like, maybe the test questions should be applicable to the things that licensing when they represent people in the purchase and sale of real estate. There's a couple of those questions in there, and there's a whole lot of, what is this nonsense, you know? So that was actually one of my first flexes as commissioner, talking to Pearson VUE. I asked them to remove some questions from the Arizona test, and they pushed back, and I was like, do you need the governor to approve it? Like, I am the commissioner of real estate, and I know what I'm talking about, and you don't. All you do is like, statistically speaking, I'm like, great, I'm so happy that 57% guessed correctly, but it's not applicable to Arizona, so take it down. I don't want that on my test. They're like, well, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I'm sorry, are you telling me you don't have a flexible platform that can meet the needs of the commissioner of the Department of Real Estate in Arizona? No, commissioner, that is not what we're saying. Oh, that's kind of what I'm hearing. And so I've had that. And so I know where we have room for improvement, and unfortunately, we have some very limited resources. The Department of Real Estate is only 22 staff members. Staff is amazing there. I will say every single person on my team is committed to helping you be successful. There is no one that wants to play a game of, gotcha. There's no joy when we, administer punishment. It's, there's shock sometimes, like, what? Did the license, why would a licensee do that? What were they thinking? So sometimes we have those situations come up. I have had a licensee who's very, very successful get into a little bit of trouble and be in an enforcement and compliance situation, which means that basically you enter a contract with the Department of Real Estate. So you say, yep, I did something bad, wasn't supposed to do that. And you pay a fine and you agree to go to some targeted education to kind of learn, and then, you know, to go on your merry way and you keep selling real estate. And I had a licensee tell my compliance officer that he was too busy to do the education part of it, that he would just like a higher fine assessed to him. So compliance officer came in and told me that this person was too busy to go get the education to learn how not to harm the public in the future. And I suspended his license so that he would have time to go get that. So I thought, how can I help this licensee? Oh, I know. You're not allowed to do real estate until this is done. And if this isn't done, and I'm telling you, it was a long period of time with a long extension that was offered to this person before they thumbed their nose up and said, I'm too big and too important. So I can say your new commissioner will not take kindly to disrespect to the department when we are out there to, you know, if you contractually agree to something with us, I expect you to uphold your end of the deal. That licensee did find the time to do it because he had 2 weeks or I would revoke his license. So there's that. Yeah, he said, can you do that? And I said, that statute says I can't. So,
Madam Commissioner.
Yes.
You're on a roll and you're amazing. We only have 10 minutes left. And there's a couple of things
okay.
I really wanted you to talk about.
Okay.
Number one, would you please talk about your new policy on adding a nickname? How you guys are looking at nicknames?
So it used to be that your nickname had to be a derivative of your actual given name. I don't necessarily so much, you know, care about that. If you have a name that's been how people recognize you in your sphere of influence from the very, very beginning of time, or even for the last 10 years, or since you became an Arizona resident, or whatever it is, you know, we're going to approve that. We're not going to be strict on that. That does not mean that you can create a nickname, which is like a branding name. I'm not going to allow that. Like Best Agent is my nickname. No. No. Really, show me 10 years of correspondence where people are like, hey, Best Agent. But if that's truly, you know, your experience where people are interested, and they will try. Like every time I open it up a little bit, then I get like the ridiculous that comes in, and I'm like, really? You give a mouse a cookie. They want some milk. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, what else did you want to know?
Well, before they ask questions, I have an award for you to present.
Oh.
So could everybody bring up Louise?
Oh.
Louise. Come here. We've already given Madison a hard time today, and she loves that so much. So we thought we'd give you a little bit of a hard time. Can you stand in between?
Yeah,
I should. Louise has been with this organization for
since 2011, but since 1997 in this building.
Since 1997, which is 26 years.
Wow.
And I don't think everyone realizes what she gives us all day. And I will tell you, working with Louise for the past 5.5 years, I know who my boss is, and she thinks she's my employee. And I'm very, very thankful for her. And she's the reason we stay in compliance. She's the reason the department knows that you are the best of the best. She's the reason our audits go well. And Louise, we just wanted to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for making a difference. And Madam Commissioner has an award for you. You have your own gold record.
Realty One Group Award recipient, making noise and breaking records.
Oh. And you have it. Thank you, Louise.
Yeah. So lots of changes coming down at the department, a lot of proactive communication. I will over communicate, like you guys will get an email from the department communicating it, and there will be outreach, and there will be classes, and there will be as much as I can pump out there, and then there will be enforcement. And the hope is that the vast majority of people, once they realize, oh, I'm out of line, will get into line. And I kind of believe in like baseball should be strike one and you're out. So is that not how it works? Anyway, so after my extraordinary effort of educating, then, you know, there will be sort of a light level of first defense compliance. And then if you choose to continue to remain out of compliance with the statutes that literally are there to protect the public. But if you just choose to be disrespectful to the laws of Arizona, and then there will be a few, unfortunately, that think that they are above it, then I will be using the tools that are available to my office that are much stricter than the monetary fine. So the only other tools I have, by the way, are suspension and revocation of licenses. So I'll be using those tools. So, so I really mean business about it. We're gonna make this industry the proudest industry in all 50 states. We're gonna shine and show everybody else how it's done and how you guys protect the people of Arizona and still are extraordinarily profitable, successful realtors. We can have both. So.
Yay! I have a question for 5 minutes. Commissioner Nicholson. Sharon.
So I've noticed a lot lately that signs now are for names instead of company names.
Yes, there's a big education going on that. I sent out 2 investigators. We took lots and lots and lots of pictures, and we're going to first reach out. We're going to educate. When I receive a complaint, I have to take action on it. Most complaints come from other licensees, so it's like I have a posse. Anyway, who turn everybody in that are doing it. I have been calling those designated brokers. They freak out when I call a little bit. And I've just been saying, you know, timing is everything. So right now the department is putting together an educational opportunity for the industry, and we'll be doing a lot of outreach. You got turned in before I had the chance to explain how it needs to be done. But I will tell you what is coming out, because I have decided what prominently displayed looks like. So in no instance is it okay for you to have a team logo without your brokerage logo also present. If your webpage has team and brokerage up there, the brokerage can't be smaller than the team. The brokerage is who is responsible to the public. It's your designated broker who is ultimately responsible for all of your actions. That's the person that the public knows something went wrong. I should call this company. I feel like the public should have like a 50-50 shot of figuring out who that is. Right. So, yeah. Right. So equal billing. If you're on your webpage, for instance, you have your brokerage and you have your team name and you've done equal billing on the top banner, but then the webpage is your big, huge team logo. Well, it better be your big, huge team logo with just as big of a brokerage logo. So everywhere there is a team logo, there needs to be a brokerage logo. And if your logo is not like Realty One Group, where it says Realty One Group, and that is the DBA, and that's registered with the department. If your logo is just a record with one inside of it, then you're going to need to spell out the legal name of the entity that the public would search. So that is what prominently displayed is going to become for teams. Branch offices is like a little wildfire thing. Hey team, you can have your own branch office. So we have some specific guidelines that are coming out on that. But the gist of it is, no, the public needs to understand that you work for a designated broker. You hang your license there, and that's the person who's ultimately responsible. 2 teams that do it fairly well are Seabox team and Lawton's team. Wherever you see the Lawton team, you see My Home Group. Wherever you see Seabox team, you see EXP Realty. And so I don't accept that that's going to interfere with your profitability, because, you know, the last time I checked, Jeff and George were just doing just fine. So, yeah.
And the Shaw Group does well.
And the Shaw Group, they're in compliance.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, they do just fine. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's okay. I'll have Russell
I
back
would
in.
say the Shaw Group doesn't get complaints. So
I know they don't, do they?
they're so good. Yeah, they're so well behaved. I should go congratulate Wendy while on my way out. Thank you for not sending me complaint after complaint. Yeah, that's where most complaints come from licensees. We investigate every single complaint that comes in. If you're ever curious, if you ever think like, oh no, am I doing this right? And you know, you want the broker's like, I'm not sure, that's iffy. Ask the department. We're not going to play gotcha penalize you when you're in the process of trying to get something right. That's just not what we're here to do.
Awesome. Well, have a safe drive, Madam Commissioner. And thank you again for coming. Oh no, she happens to ask me a few questions on people that like to volunteer for task forces. So thank you in advance. Okay, a few broker updates. I only have one major one. I want to talk to you about. And for those standing in the back, we do have a couch up here. If you would like to come sit on the couch, you're welcome to. I passed around, and if you haven't received it, I'll just tell you where to get it. The ER agreement, page 5, has a list of disclosure items. If you represent a seller, I need you to mentally go through this list or reference this list and say, what applies to this listing, and make sure it gets done. It is unacceptable as a practitioner to tell someone they don't have to fill out a disclosure to make their life easier so they'll sign with you. I know nobody in this office does that because you guys rock and you get them to fill out their paperwork, and we all understand that the disclosure statements are now on Breeze, which is already in your SkySlope system that you can electronically send it to people, but you have to know what to electronically send to them. It's unacceptable in our industry, and we had a big manager meeting on this, to use the SPDS dated prior to February 1st. A lot of sellers might have already filled it out and may still be marketing on the market, but have filled out the older disclosure statement. It doesn't matter when you took the listing. It matters when the home went under contract. I need them for their own risk management to do the new seller property disclosure statement, which is significantly updated. And in your newsletters, thank you so much for my click rate. And I know it's everyone here clicking, so thank you. We have the little video from Nikki Felgett that went over some of the red line areas. And it's so nice to just go, oh yeah, this protects them. Everything with disclosures does exactly what the commissioner was just speaking of, which protects the public, right? It protects our sellers. If you see a form on here and you don't know what it is your job then to go out, download it, read it, and understand it in its entirety. And if you need help on it, let me know. Which brings me to my next form. Yes, ma'am. Hey, Sammy, how's it going?
Yeah, Lori.
Good, thank you.
I don't know if everybody knows this. I was at the ARIA conference last week, and the department announced they're going to make this fillable on Breeze.
Oh, it already is fillable on
Yeah,
Breeze.
yeah.
It came out
Never mind.
in March, I believe, the end of March. It's just I haven't announced it greatly yet because I haven't really learned the system, but I just played with it last week and it's really easy.
And lead-based paint is on there as well.
Lead-based paint's also on there. Okay, lead-based paint, y'all, I'm not trying to be your enemy. I don't like the EPA, like wanting to dig into my files. And let me tell you, my whole career, I've never had that happen, but the one time you say never, it happens, right? If you miss an initial or a signature, I'm not being your enemy. All right. I want you to have your money. I don't want your money. It's already made out to you. It's all the bribery I have to get my initial. And it's like $5,000 I hear a spot. I have no idea. I've never actually been fined for it, but they used to scare us like crazy. And last time I checked, I'd rather buy concrete and pavers for my backyard versus paying the EPA for an initial spot. So help me. Just do it correctly and don't think I'm being annoying.
HOA will be coming to that. It'll be available soon.
Yeah, page 1 of the HOA disclosure is also coming up on Breeze. This form I gave you is called the Residential Income Property Addendum. Anytime there is a tenant in a property that your seller is selling or your buyer is purchasing, this needs to be incorporated. This is a further addition to the disclosure statement on what that landlord should be disclosing to the buyer. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way to always know all the forms, right? And this is the most overlooked form. Agents regularly write things like, we'll provide security deposit info and a copy of the lease. Cool. Is that actually enough? There's so much more that goes into that, including how the deposits get transferred. I want you to be fully aware, we are not property managers. When we take a listing, it's not our job to deal with the money when it comes to the rental. But it's also not allowed to be assumed that that deposit money goes to that new buyer, because it does not. That deposit money belongs to the tenant. and is being held by the landlord, and the landlord has to give proper notice to the tenant, and the tenant has the right to say, no, you have to hold my money. It does not always transfer, and that is outside of our purview. So this helps us make sure all proper disclosures are given.
Does that pertain to short-term rentals as well?
Yes, it would, because it all depends on closing and somebody's in there. So we want full disclosures at all times. And when one of our amazing realtors here ran into a situation this weekend, and when a listing agent, you can tell, got the listing because they didn't force their client to fill out disclosures, which is again not our office. Maybe your buyer just wants to walk. We had one that's a landlord and self-manages, and oh my gosh, knows nothing about the property. I can't fill out the SUDs. I never lived there. Didn't repair it, didn't fix it, didn't worry about APS or SRP, right? Like no big thing. Houston, we have a problem, right? Because this is to protect both the buyer and the seller. So those were those two highlights I had for you. Anybody have any questions? Cool, because I let Susan do most of my talking this morning, and we have to like get our meeting going, right? All right, I don't know about you, but how busy are we again? Very. I have not slept like all weekend. And it was awesome. Everybody's writing deals. Brand new agents are getting deals under contract. Experienced agents have their repeat business going. Houses are moving again. But here's the thing, guys. It is 74 days average on the market. I've heard so much lately of agents going, well, it's been on the market 60 days. How can they say they have multiple offers now? I don't believe them. No, believe them. This happened. It's just like when it hits right. But now Barb's going to have a chance to speak today, who's lovely with Epic, but they are predicting June and July, we'll see a dip in interest rates, which will give buyers more power, which is also the prime time when you see families moving, right? After school out. I'm not saying, about anchor housing, I'm just saying the group of people who happen to like to buy and sell during the summer, because the rest of us are like, it's so hot. Also, please, when you see Gatorade sales, go stock up because you're going to make a cooler. Red does stain, so orange is the best. Active listings, we are down 1,000 overall. We're at 13,922. Single family homes are down about 1,000. We're down to 10,966. And in Maricopa County, we only have 8,000 active single family homes. We were up last month. We're down this month. UCB impending, everything's moving. But it's not moving immediately. It's moving within 40, 50 days being on the market. Then it's closing, right? In the next 25, 35 days. So knowing that if it's the right house, it might be more negotiable if it's brand new on the market, but they're moving. Now, I will tell you, my mom's house has been listed for a while in Pebble Creek, and I do not have the patience for it. Just like you guys, I go to sleep going, why didn't you sell in a minute? I want to reduce it like every other day. And my friends here, and thank you for understanding, I'm a human too. Mandy, just wait. Just wait. And I'm like, okay, I get nothing but showings. This is a good sign. Just wait. But that whole patience thing, y'all, it's not your clients being impatient. It's us. In our hearts, they should have moved in 5 minutes. 10-mile radius of our office is showing the exact same thing. 10-mile radius of our office, we have 1,643 homes. We are condensed, aren't we? And that's down. But our contracts are up. The luxury market doesn't typically follow the non-luxury market. They kind of have some similarities, but it's a whole different cusp of someone who wants a loan and someone who doesn't even know why you do the loan, right? They're like, whatever, I take off zeros, same deal. I will tell you that the luxury market is still very hot. I know this because Miss Levinson has 5 deals pending and 123 million that just closed, another 18 million that's closing. So if you're like, well, money's not there, money's still here. It's just how people are utilizing it. And if they're choosing Robert Kawasaki or Dave Ramsey to make purchases in our marketplace. And that means cash or leverage, right? Or if they're meeting in the middle, and most right now are meeting in the middle or going more towards the lending side. And 6%, 7%, still not bad. Do you guys look at how much it is to take money out of a credit card? It's like 22, 30%. So it's still not horrible. Our market overall is selling at 98.6% of list values. And we have increased on our sales price to 445 since last month at 438. And our list price has actually taken quite a big jump as well when it comes to quarterlies, but just 10,000 when you look month to month, and we're at 533 for our median. But when you look quarterly, guys, it's not scary. We're doing okay, and you're going to see things go back up with sales prices again a little bit because list prices have gone back up. 98.6% being that closing ratio. Is that anything to be like, oh, we could go 10,000 under? No, we're still at a really good rate. Also, please note, MLS cannot report accuracy unless you report accuracy. I appreciate you all in advance. It is as good as the data we give it. And one of the data pieces most realtors do not give it is concessions. So we negotiate concessions in the buyer inspection periods, right? Because everybody wants money now instead of repairs for sure. Just say what you don't like and ask for money. And the agents don't have a habit of going back in and updating that. So I bet that's a little skewed, to be honest. And I bet it by the end of it, the net's a little less than 98%. And then when we look at our 10-mile radius of our office, guys, we're doing great. Our list median has increased to 900,000. And our median sales price went from 599 to 615. And we're selling again around that 98% mark. You guys, there's nothing to be scared of. So who are you talking to? Who are you going out? Are you being nice to the cashier? They have a W-2 and they have a job. These are good things about house. Everybody needs shelter, you know. Are you getting out there? Are you staying at home expecting phone calls? If you're staying at home, are you making phone calls? Are you writing handwritten cards? You know, are you focusing in on what you should be out there socially on? And if you get on Facebook and 5 hours flies by, I'm sorry, that was not real estate lead gen. That, you know, that's a problem. I need you all to go to homes.com and make your free profile. Zillow is shifting. Zillow was a great source when it came to finding a way to get leads for agents. I mean, it's changed many times throughout the years. We all feel differently about Zillow, but let's talk about the fact that it did work for online leads. I mean, that's just a fact, right? Well, now they're shifting how they're working. And in my opinion, this is just an opinion, which we all have one. They're eventually not going to work with us as real estate professionals. I mean, there is enough corporate owned real estate that they don't need us for advertising today. But there's always the next best thing. Now, homes.com hasn't been popular for a long time, but if you go to the NAR events, you see how many millions, if not trillions, it feels like, money flow they have going into the realtors. And right now, at no cost to you, they're doing educational programs. One day, I bet there will be a cost, and they're ramping up their lead gen side for agents. So get in there, just get your stuff set up. If worst case, you're more searchable, homes.com. Also, go still be on Zillow. Make sure you have your profile. Go on realestate.com or realtor.com. Get your profiles up everywhere you can. And the easiest way to do that is just go to Word, you know, or Google Docs. I said Word to my kids the other day. They're like, Word, Mom. And I was like, the program. And they were like, Google Docs. And I was like, right. Whatever. Oh, no, Google Sheets. No, that's Excel. See, I'm totally lost. I'm such a Microsoft girl. And make yourself a bio. Have your headshot and just copy, paste. Right? But get out there. Why to work with you. Also, when you're making that bio, have a friend read it and remember the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Take the eyes away. What is it about you that would serve them? So it's about the whip 'em. What's in it for them? Right? Not, it's not the whip 'em, it's the them part, not you part. But you get what I'm saying. All right. So anybody have any questions, any comments? Anybody want to tell me what they're feeling out there? Are you guys good? Okay, fantastic. Oh, wait, we got something in the back. What's up? Is that pause?
Yeah.
You keep moving side to side. I can't keep up. Oh, and happy birthday, my April friend.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. So I do a lot of lead generation, and just some of the things that I've been seeing. We tend to see the trends a little bit before they show up on the report, and we're definitely seeing like a lot of buyer sentiment increasing. From week to week, the applications that we're sending to our lenders, this week doubled. So also, if I do want to offer my help as a colleague, I'm really good at SEO, being found on Google and stuff like that I've been practicing for the last 2 years. So if anybody needs some help on setting your SEO for your website or even your social media or blogs, posts, anything that you have, I'll be more than glad to share with you how to do it. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share.
Oh, you're so nice, Bob. Thank you. And it was funny because I was typing out our birthday list this morning. You guys do know that I do this PowerPoint for you in the morning that I present it, because yesterday's numbers are not today's numbers and tomorrow's numbers are not today's numbers. You know, you get it, right? So this was exactly at like 7:40 a.m. And it said Luis, and I was like, that's not his name. He got his nickname approved, so make sure you say hi. The other thing, since you brought that up, how many of you know we have a one marketplace in the one zone? The one marketplace is where our partnerships are. These are not free applications or included apps. These are places that Realty One Group has partnered with, so you get a discount if you go through that service to use them. They did partner with Chime, which is a lead gen, Red X, which has several sides to it, including a dialer and several other things. So check it out. Sometimes please never go to a product directly to purchase it or to set up a trial. Always go through the company, NAR, or your local association, because I guarantee you if they have anything to do with real estate and they're any good, one of them have already negotiated a discount. So take advantage. All right. So Barb, will you come up and tell us all about lending?
Absolutely.
Hi. We're excited.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm Barb Spitzak with Epic Lending, and I don't know how many of you get on the Facebook group, but I've been doing finance updates every Friday.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear anything more than what I'm saying, please shoot me a private message so that I can include that in my little video on Fridays. I also have a ton of co-branded items for you guys that you can share. When you're doing your little bio for all of these different realtor.coms and Zillows, maybe send me your same information with your headshot and your information, and I can create some co-branded flyers for you to share on social media or with your clients. So, I mean, my Friday update said that rates were around 6.5 for conventional, 5.75 for FHA. We see that coming down. We think there's going to be basically a refi boom this summer too. So people can pay off their high debt with credit cards that we're seeing. Most average car payments are $800 and above now. So, I mean, it's a little cray-cray with the debt that people are incurring out there. But we're here to help at Epic. You know, Realty One is our priority, and we want to help you get buyers. We want to help you sell homes. So we also have a list and lock program. So if you want to reach out to me separately on that, if you have a listing that your seller might want to buy the rate down on ahead of time to enhance their listing for buyers, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about that. And we have an FHA down payment assistance program in-house. So yes.
Just to alert people, I got a phone call from a CPG lender the other day, and I stopped her about a minute into the thing.
CPG?
CMG, sorry.
Oh, okay, CMG is our parent company.
Right, and she's trying to sell me, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm with Realty One Group. We work with Epic, and she's like, oh, sorry. I'm like, thank you, bye.
Some of the loan officers probably don't know the partnership that we have with you. You know, the loan officers just don't know all the joint ventures that CMG has. Now CMG has acquired Homebridge, which has made us the largest privately held mortgage company in the United States, which is going to help us with rates. And I just quoted a bank statement loan on Friday at 7.875. That's killer right now, when most of them are in the 9s or high 8s. So it's given us a lot of advantage with pricing. And I apologize if you're getting calls from CMG loan officers. Not everyone's going to know all the details of the joint venture. So,
well, she knew as soon as I said it. So, but it was obviously she just got some call list. So,
right.
Can't help that you're a performer and stuff. You know?
That's right. Everybody wants you, Melissa. Anybody else have any questions?
Regarding any non-QM.
Yeah.
Do you guys do like DSCR for like purchase?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just saying that those are the ones that we're getting the better rates on now that we've acquired Homebridge. So the bank statement loans, the DSCR loans, yeah, we have some really good rates on those products if you want to talk about that offline. Okay.
Thank you, Barb.
Thank
You're
you.
lovely. Have a great day, everybody. And before we go to our next amazing group, I would like to see if Jim has anything he would like to add for the meeting, because I always love hearing from Mr. Sexton. How about you? Yeah, Jim. Everybody goes, yeah, Jim. Yeah, Jim.
Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that.
Let me totally embarrass Jim.
You know, every time you listen to Mandy, you get an opportunity to learn things in presentation and excitement and the whole thing. But here's my question. If I were to ask you how's the market, what's your answer?
Great.
Great. It's picking up.
And
It's the time to buy.
let me try this one. So Barb, I heard you talk about interest rates. And if I were to just ask you, so what's today's interest rate? How would you answer that?
It would depend.
Thank you.
It would depend on a lot of things, credit score, loan to value.
Okay.
It's primary or a second home or investment property. There's a lot of factors that go into
I
it.
agree. So Melissa, wouldn't you say that the real answer is it depends? Who am I? Am I a buyer? Am I a seller? What's going on? As Mandy goes through the numbers, I'm thinking to myself, that's realtor talk. That's when we talk to one another. But we talk about what are the numbers and what's happening with regard to number of sales and stuff like that, because we track that. But if we're talking to a consumer, the question is going to be, how much do you know about this? You know, really, why are you asking me that question? How many people remember when there was such a thing called a newspaper? Or even something called the Arizona Republic. You know, I get to read Republic online. And so when I go through the Sunday paper, and I want to make sure it's not an actual paper, it's on the computer. It's interesting what they report on when it comes to the market, when it comes to interest rates, when it comes to what the public is doing. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other sources for that, but in a certain demographic, say old guys, that might still be the thing that people are reading or they're looking at. And that's really what, when they're asking you, how's the market? You know, Tommy Hopkins was 50 years ago, right? I still get unbelievable is a great answer in some instances, but I need to know who you are and what you really want to know. Because what, besides online that way, how do we get information about what's happening in the market? What do you think? Have you ever seen a commercial where somebody says you can sell your house in 8 days? You think that resonates with the public?
Oh, yeah.
Or have you ever seen somebody that said, man, where'd you go, man? She just did it. Is what's happening in the marketplace as far as the percentage of your office sales versus MLS. And, you know, I conducted 3 independent surveys by different companies, and we're 8 or 12 or 15% above MLS. What the hell does that mean? Right? Tell me what's in that thing. I was going to ask the commissioner when I talked to him. But do you have rebuttal, and do you have a comeback, and do you have something that people can use, or that you can use when it comes to addressing those questions? Because you think there's too many people that have a TV that haven't seen a commercial like that?
Yeah.
Right?
And they believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but if you say that, you know, something to the effect of, first of all, it depends. Well, that's a great question, but it involves so many different things. Can I ask you a few questions? And so what I'm doing is I'm going to take back the conversation, and I'm going to say, so are you a buyer or a seller? Or you're thinking about selling? Oh, that's great. You know, I can tell you what the market is. In fact, I'll tell you that there's the number 7,400 sales that happened last month. Does that say anything? What I'd like to find out is where you live and what your address is, so I can tell you specifically what the market's doing in your neighborhood, because that's really what it is. I mean, Arizona's been a pocket, which has been a pocket market for as long as I've been in business, and that means Dirk and I are like right up there together. And you just need to be able to have a breakdown. The other thing, and I missed part of the meeting, Mandy, so if I missed it, I'm sorry. The thing to be on the lookout for is what's happening with artificial intelligence.
No, I did not go there because I had Susan and said, you go there.
No, well, I'm not going to, there's too many things involved in that. But I got a flyer recently that had about 3 numbers, you know, eye-catcher, clickbait. You know, I'm here to say, you know, here are the sales in the neighborhood. And that says, click on the QR code in order to find out what your house is worth. And how do you do that? How the QR code specific?
From your phone.
From your phone and to your address and then to your house, and then the whole process. It's amazing where that's going. You know, it's a big topic when, what's the guy's name? Chuck Schumer, was going to regulate it. That means innovation is on the way, right? No, it doesn't. People score. But it is a topic that that's hit real estate. Going to continue to be impacted by real estate in a big way, and the folks that are on the cutting edge and that are keeping up are going to be looking at how to use that. You know, the whole thing with bots on your website. I don't know how that works, but I know if you click it, I get all sorts of answers. You know, that's in the artificial intelligence arena, and I'm sure Mandy's going to have speakers in here talking about that and keeping you up to date on that. So, you know, when you see articles about that, and you know, whatever you signed up for to find out what's happening with what's happening at NAR, click on those articles and keep up to speed on what's happening in that front. And in my last zone for the day is that, you know, on Friday I had a very busy day. You know, there's such a thing as broker supervision, and then when your broker shows up at a class that you're at to keep track of you, it's like, come on, boss, you're killing me. Can I even take a class by myself?
Never, Jim. You said, can I work there? And I said, absolutely.
But
Carol told me to track you.
I know. And Carol said hi.
Thank you.
Let's tell you that. But anyway, it's fun to go into that. And the class that we were taking had to do with presenting, and it had to do with presenting classes. It was an IDW, instructor development workshop, in order to come up with the latest and greatest ways to do that. And so what Mandy's doing right now is a hybrid meeting.
Kind of.
Yeah.
See, I haven't fully embraced
Fully
that.
adapted.
But
Not only live, but it's also online.
how many of you have Canva Pro? If you don't, as a professional, buy it, because Jim just brought up a great point. AI, artificial intelligence. Canva Pro now has 5 different elements of artificial intelligence, including the ChatGPT slightly integrated into it, where you could say, hey, this is my goal, and it will create it for you. And how much is the Canva Pro annually? It's like $119.95 a year. As professionals, it's $10 a month. And I'm telling you, without this, it's not that we'll be replaced with technologies. It's realtors without technologies will eventually be replaced because they won't be able to keep up with what a system can create for the professional. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go back, reread it, make sure it makes sense, make sure the computer's not wrong. But truly, it can create visuals for you just by telling it what you're looking for. And it's absolutely amazing. And that's included in Canva Pro. That is not the full ChatGPT side. There's several different AI systems, but we know how I took a vacation and I said I'd bring you something back, and the whole world was like, I thought you were on vacation. I actually went to a speaking conference for a week to learn how to be better. And those were a few tips. And, you know, Jim always, elevates it.
Well, my source of information on AI is talking to a member of the CBOC team.
Yeah, Phil.
And,
hey, you might remember Phil.
And getting the lowdown from him. In fact, he was doing a presentation up at the AAR convention a couple weeks ago, and so I was his screener as far as what the topic's going to cover. He gave me the first presentation. It's okay, and I'll start again so I can understand the first word you said. Right? You got to talk to realtors and understand what you're presenting and what they're receiving and what they hear. And so as you presented the first thing, I'm not sure I understood what you said, but show it to me. Put it up on the screen. Give me the, what's the program?
Canva Pro.
How do you spell that?
CANVA.com.
Okay, thank you. And once you see it, and once you click on it, and once you can go through the whole thing, so this process was set up in a way, well, after it's done with me, it's like, okay, I'm just going to put this up there and, click on the chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
Thanks, Bill. I know that's what he's there for. He's the tech guy behind the curtain. And going to give us the topic and let it present the paragraphs, the whole story. Super powerful. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
No, I'm not gonna do it here because I only promised them an hour, and if I make it a bit longer, Jim,
I hate it when Mandy says you have any thoughts.
I love it when Jim speaks. Thank you, Jim. Tackle him after the meeting. He's a wealth of knowledge. And just to let you know, Louise served under Jim for 15 years of those years. And now we have our amazing rock title group coming up, and I'm so thankful, and they brought y'all breakfast this morning as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, everyone. Bree Kruger with Rock Title, and I have some exciting stuff coming up. On Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we just found out that we have a special class by Tina Tambor via Zoom that she's going to be just providing for Rock Title and all of our lovely agents. So if you would like more information, I'll be sending it out to you guys, but rockzoom.com, ROCZOOM.com, Wednesday at 1 o'clock via Zoom, Tina Tambor going through the first quarter. We also have our grand opening coming up, which is really exciting. Officially, we'll have our ribbon cutting ceremony on April 26th, so this month, between 3 and 6 o'clock, directly upstairs. So come on up, enjoy some, we have it catered, and some great bartenders are coming in, and we'll have a lot of fun. So you're welcome to come, and we hope you guys check it out.
I'm Julia Quintana. I'm actually the branch manager for Rock Title Paradise Valley upstairs. I've been with Rock Title since 2018. I was the branch manager in Peoria before I moved over to manage our corporate office. And immediately after this class, I'm doing a quick 20-minute on the different owners policies and the different coverages. I think a lot of people just think there's one owner's policy. One size fits all, and there's actually 4 different versions that you can get that have different coverages. So I'm going to cover that upstairs. Going to try and be respectful of your time because I know you've been sitting here back there. You can get up, move around, wander up, and then I've got about 15, 20 minutes of content and set you free from there. Again, I'm Julia Quintana, the senior officer and branch manager upstairs. I have Art.
I'm Art Chibaka. I'm a senior escrow officer as well. I work under Julie upstairs as well. I've got 30 years experience in the business. I've seen everything, all the ups and downs that the industry has gone through in the last 20 years. So I've pretty much worked on anything and can help you with any of your deals or just any questions or situations that you might have. I'm here to help you more than I can.
I heard you speak Spanish.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and I speak Spanish. I'm bilingual as well, so I can help you as well. So okay.
Thank you guys. Thanks for
working.
everything you do. Also in Canva Pro, what's really cool is that you can translate everything into Spanish or any other language, right? And so you always want team members that can assist people who prefer that style, right? If you don't speak Spanish, refer to somebody who does speak Spanish, and then they need someone who can meet the client's needs. And Art, 70% of our state is known in the next 5 years, statistically speaking, they're going to have some, I think how you say it is Latino or Latina or Hispanic or Spanish descent, and it's going to be quite exciting. And so I need to get on Duolingo, and we all need people on our team that can really make an impact with humans, because those are 3 zeros behind a comma, and if English is not their first language, we need to make sure that they understand what they're doing and what it says in a way that they're comfortable and confident with. Also, please note that there's a lot more languages in this state than just Spanish and English, those 2 being the primary, but we also have translators on all the association websites. So if you meet someone who speaks another language, make sure you're using the association website.
I have an exciting announcement about that.
Yay!
Rock Title is going to be having a translation on their website for Spanish and Chinese.
Ooh, Chinese. Mandarin?
Mandarin, yes. Thank you. So that's exciting. Also, Canva Pro, really quick. You can now, I know you guys have all had it, where you take pictures and the seller leaves a basket of laundry in the middle, and it's not very appealing. With Canva Pro, you can now remove it with an eraser, which is really cool. And we'll be doing more Canva hacks this Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Ooh, Canva hacks Thursday at 1 o'clock. That is exciting. Thank you, guys. Hey, did Pamela come? Is Pamela here? Is Pamela in the lobby? Mandy is not being a bad host. All right, moving on. Anybody have any buyer needs you want to tout real fast? Go ahead, Robert.
Townhouse, North Central or Biltmore, 1,500 plus square feet, one level, no pool, 500 to 600. Anybody has any comment?
All right, so if you hear that Biltmore Arcadia, single level,
North Central.
North Central,
Yeah.
5 to 600,000, single level, no pool. Thank you. Yeah, Monta, and I'll go to Sherry.
I have a listing in South City West, beautiful living home for $389. I listed it a couple weeks back, completely remodeled. What's some good feedback? It has a showing schedule to this, if anyone has a buyer need. Yeah, I don't need it.
Sun City West is on your way to Surprise, but not quite past Grand yet. So it's still can also looked at as kind of a Peoria-ish area too.
It's gorgeous.
It is great. Sure.
I have a buyer need under 700,000, has to at least be a quarter of an acre, preferable low HOA, single family residence in this area or a little south or any part of Scottsdale. They're going to use it for a home and an office. So he's pretty ready to go. So as soon as I find something, that'll happen. And then if any of you have somebody that wants to rent anything, June, July, August, September, furnished in Mission and Scottsdale 85258. I have a lead for you and you can put it together with the young lady that I know. However you want to do it.
Want to Stacy, then Melissa, Stacy?
I have a seller. It's in Sunterra. It's just north of McCormick Range. Might be perfect for you. They just did a major price reduction to $685. It is a Q2 with an office that looks onto mountains. It has a salt pool that has pebble sheen, which is not pebble tech, it's feet, new tile. It does have solar. It is leased. It was installed in 2017. It has a 20-year lease on it, so it would be an assumption. The home is beautiful. It has a really good split open floor plan. It's 10,000 square feet. The square foot is 1,453. Yes.
It was so pretty.
It's really, really cute. It has a great flow. It's got a 2-car garage with a bump out. It takes you straight into the kitchen or straight out to the backyard.
I was imagining it on Facebook as where I could live without my family. It's so pretty, so pretty. Sorry, they're teenagers. We all understand, right? Yeah, no HA. That was amazing. Melissa?
I actually have a renter need like what you're talking about, but they need furnished, preferably now or May through October. They have a very sweet 45-pound Basset Hound. So kind of added to the twist, but just the one person and the dog. So 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, preferably McCormick Ranch-ish area, right in that part of South Scottsdale.
I'll come into June and you can put it together with my person.
Yeah.
Okay. Marcy?
I'm living the impossible dream. Her listing for 425. Chandler, somewhere, anywhere in that area, because that's the closest I'll get. But dazzle me with the kitchen and I can sell it, I can bring it down square footage. I can bring it down better.
We don't square footage.
If you dazzle me with the kitchen, I can let go of the 1,200 minimum square footage. You dazzle me with the kitchen, I'll sell it. It's 400 to 425 and has a garage space for the kayak. Impossible dream.
I like it. I'll help you later. Mark, what's up?
Okay, I have a new listing. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo around 94th Street and Thunderbird with a attached 2-car garage, which is pretty unusual. And price is $550.
Oh, sorry, I just walked away from that.
Mira Vista.
Well, thank you all for being amazing, letting me live the dream. Keep pumping it out there. Let me know how I can assist you. And also, Jackie was just approved as an instructor with the state of Arizona, and she's going to be teaching you a CE class here coming up. So keep on the lookout for Jackie. Jackie, did you have something before we did? Sherry, you have one more thing to tell?
One more thing. I have two stainless steel side by side refrigerators, one countertop, one regular size, and stainless steel stove. If anybody has a new home buyer or whatever, on the
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Go sell houses, be happy, and bring joy to the world. Robert, did you tell her that?
Andy?
Yeah.
That's the best haircut. I mean, it's